Hi all, this is lesson 1, and we will start with the famous words from ancient Greece. Know thyself, know thyself. Now, and I'll use me as an example. Years ago, when I first started on this journey of looking at myself, I went to Women's Aid and it was like group counselling. So, really, it was like group counselling. And what they asked you to do was really look at yourself, look at your reactions, look at how you are in the world, and maybe how parents have affected you. And I also learned that on my counselling course as well. And this was like a revelation for me. It's like, I'll give you an example. It's like taking inventory of yourself, your mindset, your reactions, everything. And I'd never done anything like that. It's like, if you run a business, every year they take inventory, what's worked well, what they need to, what they need to work on, strengths, weaknesses, and all this kind of thing. I'd never done that. So when I started to look at these things and realize how your parents and conditions can affect you, for me it was fascinating. I found that so interesting. So I'll just go into it a bit more. When we are children, we are born from the ages of 0 to 7. We are in the brainwave frequency of alpha, so that's your imagination. That's where you absorb your self beliefs, how you're in the world, reactions, things from parents, all of that from the ages of 0 to 7. And depending on what your parents were like, it's going to, or two primary caregivers, it's going to grow you into the person that you are today. Now, I had never even thought of or looked at that concept, and I just found it absolutely fascinating. That, okay, so you can look at this, you can work with this. So from the ages of 0 7, as I say, all these, like for me as the example again, I did a lot of years of work in myself. Went on my spiritual journey. I did all this training, investment in myself, and I was like hitting a brick wall. I was plateauing, and I couldn't really understand why. And it all, even though I knew what I had to share and had to give was of real quality, I couldn't move past asking people for money. And I had a negative self-belief when I was raised by my mother had a mental illness and my father wasn't there. He was absent. So there was lots of neglect, and we were poor. So I had a real lack mentality, and I didn't have any needs, and I cut off my needs, so I wouldn't ask for help, or I wouldn't, I just thought that I could do without money. Things like that, even though I'd invested so much in myself. And when I began to, and I worked on, when I worked on things and releasing stuff from the past, and I actually went through some similar processes as to what I'm going to describe through clinical hypnotherapy, and it was to do with, my negative self-beliefs and how I felt about myself and holding anger and stuff from my past. So I was able to, on a subconscious level, let go of stuff. It's like letting go of your emotional garbage, your emotional junk that you're holding. Some people might not even know that they are holding it, and it's all to do with your past and your parents and things like that. So I'm just going to explain a bit about the mind. So we have our conscious mind, and that's the beta brainwave frequency, and then we have the alpha, and that's the sub-alpha, that is the imagination and all of those things, and that's the subconscious mind, and then you have your unconscious mind, also known as the superconscious mind, and that's the part pre-programmed from birth. So again, I'll just quickly run through them. So your conscious mind is your logic, reason, willpower, judgment, and your short-term memory. And then you have your subconscious mind. It's your feelings and emotions, your beliefs, your habits, your protector, and your long-term memory. And then you have your unconscious mind, which is the part pre-programmed, as I said, from birth. And that is your breathing, your temperature, your glands, your heartbeat, and your hunger and your thirst. And that's also the spiritual aspect. More of that later. So what I was able to do with processes was go in and really work on a subconscious level, because as again, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when I was able to work on all of this stuff, I then, basically the benefit of that is, here's the benefit. Your reactions are going to change. So let's say, for example, I'll actually explain the process here. I'm going to deepen you down. So we put the conscious mind to the side and working with the subconscious mind, the feeling mind. And I'm going to bring you into the room. It's called the room of retribution. And there's going to be one of your primary caregivers, with, let's say, for example, your mother, will be sitting there, and you will be able to say everything you've ever wanted to say. Now, actually, it doesn't even matter if, say, for example, your mother has passed on. You will still have the chance to say everything, get everything off your chest that you've ever needed to say. And basically, the amount of effort that you put in there is what you'll get out. So, put in the effort, put in the feeling, because the more you put in, the more that you'll get out. And then you will have a chance to forgive this person, let's say, for example, your mother. And then we will move on to the process of the next person, say, for example, father or whoever it may be, and a chance for forgiveness. And then we'll come back out. But then after, there will be a chance for some reflection, contemplation. How do you feel? What have you learned? How's your mindset? And just having a look at all of those things. So I know when I did these processes, similar processes, not this particular one, this is one that I've created. It was to do with, then I had emotions, jealousy, anger, short-temperedness, because I had so much trauma, that then I was able to, my relationships got better. I was able to react in a different way when people were pushing my buttons. And also, say, for example, around my mother, there's certain things that I can't say to my mother. She's a mental illness. But going through similar processes, you're able to say everything you would love to say. And then your inner self, your inner child, let's say, so to speak, feels like it's vindicated, it's validated, it's not suppressed, it's been able to have its say. And then you may find that your relationship with, say, for example, your mother, will become better, it'll become easier, you'll not be triggered as much. And, just your quality of life, that is then your quality of life will get better. To me, it's priceless. You can't put a price on that. Because, people will go to the dentist if they have a sore tooth, if they're stressed, they'll go and they'll have a massage. But not many people really will go and see a hypnotherapist or get healing for their psyche, which is, you have to live with you every single day. Your family, friends have to live with you every single day. So as you find through the processes and moving on in your life that your reactions begin to change, what's such a gift? Not only a gift to yourself, a gift to everyone around you. It's like the ripple effect. So that's the real benefits of all of this, of doing the work, of putting in the effort. The more effort you put in, the more you will get back. And, you can revisit. Say, for example, something's really triggered you again, you can go back and revisit and do this process again. These are spiritual processes, these are healing processes, they're, hypnotherapy, it's all mixed in, and it's to heal the psyche and the mind, because, mental illness is such a thing that's so prevalent these days. But all of that focus and power energy, if you put in the effort, you will get that back. So I'm really excited that you're on this journey and, taking, stepping up and wanting better for yourself and wanting to do the work, because the work needs put in. I can't do it for you. I wish I could, but I'm giving you the benefit of my experience and my pitfalls. So we start here. Let go and unshackle yourself as a prisoner from the past, and move forward, clear, lighter, brighter, freer in your emotional self and your reactions. And so you'll be able to look at the world with a set of fresh eyes. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to you joining me and listen to.